Guys, we are lucky to have Precious Miura here, and she's been at the Diddy parties, and she's about to spill some secrets.
Today, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see
The story of Shah Diddy has taken a surprising turn. For years, he was at the top, famous, wealthy, and powerful, a symbol of success in the music world. His name was linked to luxury, parties, and achievement. But now, the spotlight that once celebrated him is showing a different side. The evidence against him is hard to ignore and shocking. It suggests that his empire wasn't just built on talent, but possibly on a web of control, manipulation, and hidden secrets he tried to keep out of the
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
the shopping thing is
yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
The scale of what investigators uncovered when they raided Shah Diddy's properties earlier this year is staggering. Federal agents hit his homes in Los Angeles, Miami, and even his private jet. They weren't just searching for one piece of evidence, they found a whole collection of incriminating material, including illegal firearms. Among the items seized were 3 modified rifles with altered serial numbers, along with ammunition and a drum magazine capable of holding dozens of rounds. These weren't just tucked away in a forgotten corner, they appeared to be part of a carefully organized stash, sparking questions about what Diddy might have intended to do with them, but the weapons were just the start. Investigators also found a stash of digital evidence. Devices taken from Diddy's properties contained hours of recordings and images, which prosecutors say are tied to his infamous freak-off parties. These weren't just wild, celebrity-filled bashes, court documents describe them as meticulously planned events, down to every last detail. Diddy reportedly had an entire team dedicated to organizing these gatherings, ensuring that everything, from the accommodations to the guest list, was exactly as he wanted. The footage they uncovered allegedly shows disturbing scenes from these parties, leading many to question what was
in fact occur. Their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
Then there's the strange discovery of supplies found during the raids. Among the items seized were over 1,000 bottles of personal lubricants and oils. Yes, you read that correctly, more than 1,000. These weren't just thrown around his homes, they were allegedly stored in bulk, like part of some inventory. Prosecutors argue this was all part of Diddy's strategy to make sure his freak-off parties were fully stocked for whatever he had in mind.
Against him. Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs, this one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
The most shocking part of this story is that even behind bars, Diddy seems to stay in control. While locked up in a Brooklyn detention center, he allegedly made hundreds of calls to his associates, using both his phone and those of other inmates to avoid detection. Transcripts of these calls suggest he was giving orders to clean up evidence, like getting rid of pizza boxes, a detail prosecutors find suspicious. Additionally, investigators found a handwritten to-do list where Diddy instructed a family member to dig up dirt on 2 of his accusers. Instead of preparing his defense, he seemed focused on discrediting his accusers, leading prosecutors to call this list a key piece of evidence in his attempt to obstruct justice.
Did in fact occur. Their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in this conduct and being in those spaces, consuming alcohol and things of that nature.
The audacity of it all has left even seasoned legal experts shocked. It's rare for someone facing such serious charges to try and manipulate the case while under tight supervision, yet that's exactly what Diddy is accused of doing. If the allegations are true, it's not just troubling, it's frightening. It paints a picture of a man who thinks he's above the law, someone who believes the rules don't apply to him. For years, Diddy built a public image as the life of the party, a mogul who turned his rags to riches story into a billion-dollar empire. He gave the world chart-topping music, high-end fashion, and luxury brands. He was seen as a symbol of success, proof that hard work and ambition could make dreams come true. But now, that image is crumbling.
I thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
Diddy's infamous parties, once seen as glamorous celebrity events, are now under intense scrutiny. Former attendees, like model Precious Muir, have shared disturbing accounts of how young, vulnerable guests were treated as objects for the powerful. She also claims there were hidden cameras in private areas of Diddy's homes, including bedrooms. While Diddy's legal team denies these allegations, they add to the explosive nature of the case. Investigators also say his staff helped maintain the illusion of normalcy while enabling his behavior, actively covering it up. This raises serious questions
Welcome
about
to Popcorn Planet's The Interview, the series where we get in depth with amazing people, and I'm so honored to have this special guest with us here. Precious Muir, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, my love?
I'm great. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm making sure I center you a little bit more. There we go. So honored to have you here. You have some stories to tell. You've survived the white parties.
Diddy's lead defense lawyer recently resigned, a move that shocked the legal world. While the reason hasn't been made public, many believe the overwhelming evidence against Diddy made the case too hard to defend. With evidence mounting and tapes showing attempts to obstruct justice, it's clear how serious his situation is. The question now is how it all went wrong. How did someone with fame, fortune, and family end up at the center of such a scandal? The answer seems to lie in the empire he built, behind his image of excess and success.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
What happens next is uncertain, but with the trial approaching and new evidence coming out daily, it's clear this story is far from over. One thing is certain, the man who once seemed untouchable is now facing his toughest battle yet. Whether he can survive it remains to be seen, but Sean Diddy Combs will never be viewed the same way again. What makes his case even more intriguing is the impact it's having on the entertainment industry. Diddy's fall from grace has sparked a broader conversation about power, privilege, and accountability, raising questions about who else might be hiding similar secrets.
Pretty early in the proceedings. I think it's only been about a month or a month and a half since he's been arraigned and held in detention. And so the investigations are always going to be a continuous and ongoing process. I'm sure at this point there's been an exchange of discovery. And not only that, but I think there's been a gag order placed on the attorneys with information that they can and cannot share. But more importantly,
the storm around Sean Diddy Combs grows darker with each passing day. Every new revelation makes his once untouchable empire crumble further, weighed down by shocking and far-reaching allegations. What started as rumors of inappropriate behavior has turned into a full-blown scandal spanning decades, involving not just Diddy, but a network of enablers and associates. It's a story that feels like it belongs in a Hollywood thriller, but this time, it's real, and the consequences.
Okay, so basically I was a Playboy bunny, so a Playboy bunny representing New York State. The reason why I need to clarify this is when you're a Playboy bunny, you are part of the corporation, and you are a bunny, and you do have a title, and you wear a uniform, but you don't get a month.
Let's take a closer look at Diddy's alleged control over others, which paints a disturbing picture of how power can corrupt. Investigators and former associates describe him as someone obsessed with control over his image, his empire, and even the lives of those around him. This wasn't just about demanding respect or being a perfectionist. the allegations suggest something dark.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
Take the troubling claims about Diddy's former partner, Kim Porter. While they appeared to be the perfect couple, friends of Kim say she lived in fear of Diddy's temper, with their relationship marked by toxicity. An unpublished manuscript allegedly written by Kim accuses Diddy of psychological manipulation and physical abuse, including an incident where he struck her so hard with a heavy object that she needed medical attention. It's rumored that Diddy used his wealth to silence hospital staff. The manuscript also claims Diddy went as far as wiring her home with hidden devices, monitoring her calls, and hiring people.
The person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, there's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man.
The most chilling detail is the alleged discovery of Kim Porter's personal journal, which reportedly contained details about Diddy's behavior and hints that she wanted to escape his control. Kim's sudden death in 2018 raised suspicions, and her former friend, R&B artist A.L.B. Shore, has called for an investigation, believing she knew too much about Diddy's secrets. Kim isn't the only one affected by Diddy's control. Former employees have shared stories of fear and intimidation, claiming loyalty was demanded and those who challenged Diddy faced severe consequences. One staff member even said Diddy threw a heavy object at an assistant, narrowly missing.
Very dominant, like he wants to control the situation, he wants to control his inner circle, he wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career.
Diddy allegedly used financial manipulation to control others, offering wealth and success, but trapping people in dependency through control of their paychecks, living arrangements, and career opportunities. One insider called it golden handcuffs, luxury at the cost of freedom. His infamous white parties, once seen as glamorous, are now being viewed in a darker light. These events, attended by A-listers, were said to blur boundaries and test limits. One former model described feeling like fresh meat, surrounded by
you say the wrong thing, or you complain, or I don't know. There's an element where you're just, I guess, manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing, or when they're constantly asking you, would you like to do, and you're like, well, I don't do, and they're like, well, why don't you do?
And then there's the matter of hidden cameras. Several former attendees, including Playboy bunny Precious Mir, have claimed that certain rooms in Diddy's mansions were equipped with concealed recording devices. While high-profile homes often have security systems, the suggestion that cameras were placed in private spaces like bedrooms raises troubling questions about what was being recorded, and why. While there's no concrete proof, the mere mention of such behavior adds to the unease surrounding this situation. Even more disturbing are the allegations about how young and vulnerable attendees were treated. Mir has described a predatory atmosphere at these parties, where newcomers were often encouraged to drink or take substances to lower their guard. According to Mir, this wasn't just about having fun, it was about finding people who could be manipulated. It's a form of control, she said, hinting that these parties weren't just about
civil lawsuit. Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
But the story doesn't